420.
Hey guys, welcome to Memery Games. Today I'm gonna be playing My Furry Dictator. Alright, let's just hop into this. Honey, can you pick up the kids after school today? I want to stop by the store after work and get some ingredients for dinner. Sure, but first you should tell me what you plan to cook for dinner. You don't need to know everything. Some things should be a surprise. I hope this surprise rhymes with Bazagna. She sighed with a sweet smile and answered me. And why is it that you're only excited when it comes to food? Because the way to a man's heart is through... Yes, 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 finish your breakfast. Women, am I right? Also, don't forget to take your lunch from the fridge. After this, she leaned over to kiss me. Our lips almost touched, and then... I suddenly opened my eyes and saw the stewardess. She stood in front of me and smiled sweetly, holding a tray with my breakfast. I beg your pardon? You asked me to wake you up 2 hours before the arrival. Yes, thank you. The stewardess smiled sweetly, put the tray on the table, and headed for the cockpit. Damn, I shouldn't have asked for this. I wish I could continue sleeping. I began to see these dreams more often recently. Is my subconscious trying to give me a hint? Or maybe I just work too hard. Yeah, most likely. But for some reason, I feel really good about such dreams. I stretched, yawned widely, and watched the stewardess. I'll probably need to take a vacation and fly somewhere soon. I hope this helps me. But where? I've already been to Paris, Tokyo, Dubai, Moscow. I'm tired of vacationing at beach resorts. I'm already sick of the sun and the sea. Even though I became one of the richest people on earth, it still doesn't bring me happiness. Everything seems to be too gray. I read that as gravy before I read it out loud, by the way. Too boring lately. Even an expensive psychologist could not help me with this. Okay, let's forget about that. I need to get ready for the meeting as soon as possible. I took my laptop out of my bag, opening all the plans and reports for the company. Sums, columns, numbers. I began to read the text, then brought a mug of coffee to my lips without looking away. But as soon as I wanted to take a sip from it... Whoa! What the fuck? The plane began to shake abruptly. I jumped out of the seat, hitting my head on the ceiling, spilling the burning coffee on myself. What the? I grabbed the top of my head throbbing from the impact. That's gonna be painful for a while. The stewardess ran to me a couple seconds later and asked, Are you alright, sir? No, I'm not alright. My head hurts and my crotch is on fire. What's happening? What's going on here? The intercom system flipped on, taking my attention away from the stewardess. Sir, this is flight captain speaking. We've lost power to the right engine, possibly exploded. Son of a... Do you have any control at all? I think I could. His voice was interrupted. Another explosion. I believe that fire theory is correct. What? It's worded so strangely. The stewardess lost their footing, colliding into me. She mumbled some surprise and apology, shaking from both surprise and fear. So the stewardess does use she/they pronouns in this game. Canonically. And what is the name of this island? The stewardess got up quickly, trying to steady herself on the chair. I sighed heavily. I need to not panic. Keep a level head. Oh, who am I kidding? No matter how you look at it, it's too difficult to stay calm in this situation. The intercom crackled. The pilot again. Hold on. I'm drinking piss.
Drop out.
And what about you? Okay, counting on you. I got up and walked to the door of the plane. The stewardess came on. The stewardess soon came out with 2 parachutes.
Sir, do you know how to use it?
Yes, and what about you? She nodded and replied,
I'll jump right after you.
I'm giving the stewardess a voice now, just to differentiate. Because I know that you guys would be confused if I didn't do that. I strapped on the parachute, tightening it against me. The stewardess put theirs on, looking nervous while doing so. I rotated the emergency latch, feeling the weight of the wind and pressure pressing hard against my hands. I thought that said balls. Just as the latch moved, the hatch opened abruptly, and I'm sucked to the outside. My body makes contact with the plane's body. The last thing I saw was the shocked face of the stewardess, and then the plane caught fire, splitting apart in midair. I couldn't see anyone with me, the explosion blinding my vision. Damn, damn, damn! They're all dead! And I'm the only one who got out in time. And it happened by such an absurd accident. Oh God, why did it turn out this way? I've always asked the company for the best planes, because I am rich. I had to regain my composure and turn myself around. But of course, there was problem. There was problem. There was problem. The wind. I couldn't keep my eyes open because of the air rushing by me. Damn, I should have taken something to cover my eyes. Although if I had lingered there, even for a second more. Focus on what's happening now. Right now, I needed to see this through this stream of wind and get the parachute opened at the right time. I flew hundreds of meters, barely keeping my eyes open. I could make out the shapes of the island landing zone below me. It was clearly inhabited. I could make out fields, road networks, even buildings, but there was nothing as grand as a cityscape. Huh. At least there was some form of civilization here. I had to remain calm. Excuse me. There was help down there. I tried to move myself so I could land on the sandy beach below. That when a second, much more urgent problem appeared. I yanked the ripcord, and the giant sheet of fabric that meant my survival shot out of my parachute. The cords that were meant to be attached to me flew uselessly up, attached to nothing. Someone cut the cords. What the?
You gotta be shitting me!
I tried to open the reserve parachute. It flew out but didn't want to open up. Not you too! I reached up, grabbing the cords that my life now depended on. With a violent, desperate jolt, I shook the reserve chute. Success! The chute rips itself open in a loud whomp! My straps jerk tightly against my body as the sudden change of velocity gets absorbed into me. The pain of my earlier head bump is now overshadowed with the bruises I will have soon. I breathed out a sigh of relief. Despite all odds, I'm going to be alive. Until I flew right into a bunch of palm trees. And this was the final problem. I hadn't slowed down enough in my fall. The last thing I remembered was hitting my head on one of the palm trees. Just because fate was cruel, I hit right where I bumped my head earlier. Darkness enveloped me. With all that just occurred, the silence was welcomed. I don't know how to read that, so I'll let you guys read that. I felt someone grabbing my shoulder, shaking me. Slowly, I opened my eyes. There was a single light above me, gray walls surrounding me, and a woman in front of me. Somehow I was on a bed, and she was standing right next to me. What in the world? I felt a throbbing pain from my multiple head injuries. Reflexively, I reached up to my forehead. To my surprise, I had bandages wrapped around me. The girl looked at me, a quizzical surprise in her eyes. She spoke. So, you speak English? There was a subtle accent in her voice. Yes, why? Is that such a strange thing? Considering that you are a foreigner, not really. Fortunately for you, I am the one who will interrogate you now. Interrogating? Why are you... Were you involved with that plane crash? And then I remembered. The plane, the explosives, all those on board gone. I felt a pang of guilt. Pang? I was the only one who survived. Exactly. Airplane. Have you already sent search teams to find the rest of the crew? We only found wreckage. Most likely they are already dead. As I thought. What exactly do you want to know from me? What's your name? Where are you from? What kind of plane was that? My name is Robin. Because that is my name. I'm Robin. Do all British men have such strange names? I'm not British. I'm not a man. My name isn't strange. Fuck you. I'm from America. Then why do you speak English? Her question made me dumbstruck, and I didn't know what to answer. Noticing my reaction, she laughed and replied with a smile. Just kidding. My name is Maria. It's not funny. It's not funny, Maria. But you will be more accustomed to calling me Mary. Was this a joke or something? Okay, never mind. Regarding the plane, it was my private jet. Besides me, there were 2 pilots and 1 stewardess on it. What? Private jet? Are you some kind of politician? No, I just have enough money to afford it. But how? How do I have this money? Enough money? Where did you get so much money, huh? What does this have to do with you? So you are a bourgeois? Bourgeois? When was the last time I heard that word? In history class at school? Am I? Is this Ireland? Where am I? She just smiled slyly and then... Tag! You are in the best country in the world, comrade. Country of democratic socialism, joy and happiness. A country where man is not exploited by man, where every worker receives a fair reward for his labor. A country where everyone is free from prejudices and where everyone is valued. You are in the Social Democratic Republic of Corsia. So I got here. The last thing I heard about this country is that it is some godforsaken island on which a socialist system was established many years ago, and since then it became hard to live here. Hunger, poverty, dictatorship, obviously not the best place. Could it be that our crash was caused by them? It's pretty likely, but for now I should put my suspicions aside and try to get out of here. So where did you get the money? Earned it by exploiting the working class, right? I must somehow lie about what I am doing. Otherwise... I couldn't think of a good excuse and just gave up. Better to be honest. I am the owner of the largest network of real estate agencies in the United States. We buy houses, build houses, sell houses. Real estate? In the hands of capitalists is a way to exploit people's basic needs. All people should by default have a roof over their heads, and the bourgeoisie use this system to enrich themselves. So you openly admitted it. You are either a daredevil or the collision with palm trees was too hard. After these words, she was silent for a while and thought about something, but then she asked, "What are you going to do now?" I looked at the floor, thought for a while, and answered. I flew to a business meeting. But now, after the crash, I'm definitely late. If you will allow me, I would like to ask you for a plane to Singapore. I have no money now, but I will pay for it after. Pay? With dirty money you got from the exploitation of the proletariat? No thanks. Regarding the plane and your departure, I cannot make such decisions, and I have to ask our great leader. Great leader? The anger from her face instantly disappeared. Yes, our wonderful leader. The person who leads our country to a bright future. Oh yes, the dictator that I heard of from the media. What media? From what I've heard, this man is extremely cruel and authoritarian. I wonder how true this assumption is. You, can you take me to your leader? Aliens. Mary was surprised at my question. Why would you meet our great leader? For the plane? I don't think our great leader should be disturbed by... She did not finish her sentence when the phone suddenly rang. She took it out of her pocket and then walked away from my cell and started talking to someone in a language unfamiliar to me. To my regret, I did not understand what she was talking about, so I didn't finish reading that before I skipped it. After a couple of minutes, she came back to me with a smile on her face. What was I talking about here? Oh yes, about our leader. I just spoke to her and she wants to meet you herself. You are lucky that our great leader paid attention to you. Wait, her? So the dictator of this country is a woman. The news didn't say anything about that. Although, in fact, I have heard very little about this country, only rumors. I smiled and replied,
Excellent! Thank you!
Mary was embarrassed, blushed, and looked away, after which she answered in a timid voice, You're welcome, bourgeois. She turned away and quickly went somewhere. After a couple of minutes, she came back with a bunch of keys. Then she opened my camera and said, Camera? I don't think that was the right word. I think they meant to put cell. Don't even think of doing anything against me or Her Excellency. I studied at the main military academy of our country, and I can easily break all your limbs in a couple of movements. Okay. I didn't mean to. That's great. She took me out of the prison building and led me somewhere through the streets of the city. And I clearly did not expect to see an absolutely normal and beautiful city. The news constantly said that everything is bad here since they established the socialist regime, but it was completely different. The city was absolutely normal. Moreover, the city looked lively and beautiful. The people around looked happy, they all smiled. Maybe I was really just jumping to conclusions. Or is it a set to trick me? Mary noticed my reaction and asked with surprise, Is something wrong? Well, I just really didn't expect everything to be so nice and lovely. My words surprised her even more. What did you expect? Well, they rarely talk about your country on the news, and they always put it in a bad light, as if the country is in ruin and poverty. Well, I could expect that. We have been living in isolation from the rest of the world for many years, so no wonder. But, no, she didn't say that, I did. But, why is your country isolated? It's because of the sanctions and the image in the media that Western countries are imposing on us. We did not ban anyone to enter the island. Moreover, we are happy to see migrants here. Sorry. I expected to hear anger in her voice in response to my words, but she actually looked sad because of my words. I probably shouldn't bring up external political questions in the future here anymore. But we still try for our own sake, for each other's sake, and for the sake of our descendants. These are just difficulties that we will overcome. Now her voice was full of hope and joy. She seems to be extremely uncertain in her emotions. Since I know so little about your country, tell me more about it. She smiled even more at my words and replied, The great leader just wanted to talk to you about this, so just wait to meet her. Talk to me about this? What exactly does she mean? And what is she like, your great leader? What the hell? Hearing my question, her eyes sparkled and she began to answer with pride. Her Excellency is a very smart and wise person. She is proficient in everything, always firm and fair in her decisions, but also incredibly kind. And she is also very friendly, polite, generous.
So far, it sounds like a description of any socialist leader.
And although she has some unusual sides, she is very beautiful and charming.
Unusual sides?
I am sure that you will immediately be convinced of my assumption as you meet her. I didn't understand at all what she meant when she was embarrassed, but I was now curious to meet the great leader. After a couple of minutes, we reached a tall building that stood out from the rest by its appearance. Hold on, I'm gonna look up how long this game is. Okay. All the architecture in the city was modest and in some constructivist style, but this building was gigantic. Looking at it, it immediately became clear that this is the most important building in the city. Mary noticed my reaction and asked in a joyful voice, Incredible building, right? I've seen many beautiful, large, and incredible buildings in my life. This building looks pretty good compared to most government buildings I've seen. This is a government building that was built according to the blueprints of our past great leader. That's why it's so incredible. There was sheer admiration in her voice when she spoke of this building. I agree that it's good, but isn't she overly excited about it? Okay, this is probably just a feature of the socialist countries. The interior was also good, and surprisingly even the portraits of the great leaders were not hung anywhere. But I tried not to focus on anything and just followed Mary. I don't want to waste even more time on this meaningless chatter. I need to get out of here as soon as possible. We entered the main elevator in the center of the hall. Mary pressed the topmost button on the panel, and we soon found ourselves in front of a door with something written in their language. I suppose it said something like Cabinet of the Great Leader. Mary told me to wait a couple seconds and then went into the office herself. In less than a minute she came out and said to me with a smile, Come in, Her Excellency is waiting for you. Well, now we will know what kind of person this great... That is not written correctly. I slowly walked into the office after Mary. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in part 2. 420.